Hello everybody, this is Algebra 2 5.1. Here is your email contact for receiving either more PowerPoints or video worksheets or tests. Email me here and I'll provide those for you. 5.1. This is our 5.1 model inverse and joint variation. And we have a classwork sheet of 34 points and then 24 points of note taking. And this is part 1. Here's the objective here. Create 2 or more equations with variables between quantities, graph equations on coordinate axis with labels. Here's the bell work here, students. Start in on your bell work as you walk into the classroom, or for homeschoolers, this is your warm-up for this lesson. The blank, what is this? I'm going to let you do this. 2 variables, x and y, show direct variation provided blank, where a is a non-zero. Model inverse and joint variation. You wrote and used direct variation models. We did that. The end of chapter 4. You will use inverse variation and joint variation models so you can model music frequencies, as in example 40. Classwork. You have learned that 2 variables, x and y, show direct variation of y equals ax for some non-zero constant a here. Another type of variation is called inverse variation. Inverse variation is where x and y show if they are related as follows. Y equals a over x, where a cannot equal 0. So we have a quotient here instead of a product. This will show an inverse variation here. The constant a is a constant called the constant of variation, and y is said to vary inversely with x. So as y gets larger, x gets smaller. That's the inverse relationship between y and x. Here is your vocabulary that goes into your notebook. I do a notebook check usually on Fridays in my classroom. So constant of variation and inverse variation. Students refer to your classwork sheets for these definitions. Example 1, classify direct and inverse variation. Tell whether x and y show direct or inverse variation or neither. So here is a table here. A, xy equals 7. xy equals 7 can be rewritten this way. Y can equal 7 over x, which is inverse. So we move our x over to this side over here. Y equals x plus 3. Y equals x plus 3 is neither. It's neither a direct or an inverse. And then y over 4 equals x. And we can rewrite it here. Y equals 4x. It's a direct variation. As y gets larger, x gets larger. Guided practice here. Tell whether x and y show direct, inverse variation, or neither. So here is our expression here. Same thing down here, students. This is your independent practice here. Guided practice. There's our expression, and then we simplify it further to y equals 0.75 over x. X and y show inverse variation because the equation is of the form y equals a over x. So it is an inverse variation here. This goes in your notebook, students, page, and label this page 7 on 5.1 for your notebook. Example 2, write an inverse variation. Variables x and y vary inversely, and y equals 7, x equals 4. Write an equation that relates x and y. Then find y when x equals -2. So we have to write an inverse variation that includes these values here into this expression, into your inverse variation formula. Then we plug in here from these values here, substitute 7 for y, 4 for x. And we get 28 equals a. The inverse variation is y equals 28 over x when x equals -2. And y then would equal 28 over -2, which equals -14. And we substitute in. Here is our second guided practice here. Tell whether x and y show direct, inverse, or neither. Students, this is your independent here. So that's on you. Okay, here's our expression here, y equals x minus 5. X and y show neither direct nor inverse because the equation is on the form y equals ax or y equals a over x, so it is neither. Another notebook entry here, this is slide number 10, so make that into your notebook, students. Write an inverse variation model. MP3 players, number of songs that can be stored in MP3 players varies inversely with the average size of a song. A certain MP3 player can store 2,500 songs. Average size of a song is 4 megabytes. Write a model that gives the number n of songs that will fit on an MP3 player as a function of the average song size s in megabytes. So we need to write inverse variation model for this relationship here. So write inverse variation, n equals a over s. Write general equation for inverse variation. And n is the number of songs, and then s is the average song size in megabytes. So 2,500 equals a over 4. Substitute 2,500 for n and 4 for s. We just plug that in here. 10,000 equals a, solve for a. The model is n equals 10,000 over s for songs and MP3 player. This is notebook entry page 12 here. MP3 players, we're not done with this one yet. Can store 2,500 songs. Average size song is 4 megabytes. So make a table showing the number of songs that will fit on the MP3 player if the average size of the song is 2 megabytes, 2.5, 3 megabyte, and 5 megabyte as shown below. So now we're going to add a table here. These are the different sizes, lengths of the song. Make a table of values that include these lengths here. Notebook page 14. Make this into your notebook, students. So here is your table, average size of a song in megabyte, 2, 2.5, 3, and 5 megabyte. Number of songs that can fit on the MP3 player if your average song size is here. So we have that. We used our inverse variation. From the table, you can see the number of songs that will fit on the MP3 player decreases as the average song size increases. So that's an inverse relationship there. And then our guided practice here, number 5. What if, in example 3, what is the model for MP3 player if it stores 3,000 songs when the average song size is 5 megabyte? So here's our inverse variation here. And then we plug in here, 3,000 goes into here. And then 5 megabyte is the average size of the song. So 15,000 equals a. A model is n equals 15,000 over s. That would be our model for that. Then we go into our homework here. You have 119 points on your homework, and then we had 24 points of note-taking for 5.1. Then we have vocab and writing for page 1. Then we have determining variation, again showing direct, inverse, or neither types of variation from these expressions here. Page 2 of the homework, same thing up here. Which equation represents inverse variations? You have multiple choice here. Using inverse variation, the variables x and y vary inversely. Use the given values to write an equation relating x and y. Then find y when x equals 3. So we have to use our formulas here. Same thing here. Interpreting data, this is page 3 of the homework. Determine whether x and y show direct, inverse variation, or neither, using the table of values here. And then same thing here for 21. And then same thing here on page 4 of your homework. What kind of relations do we have here between x and y? Direct, inverse, or neither? Problem 37, page 5 on the homework. Digital camera, it's a storage thing. Again, write a model gives n as a function of s. How many photos can your camera store when average photo size 3.87 megapixels? And then we have an electronics problem here. And this is page 6 on your homework. Write a model that gives r as a function of I, then predict r when I equals 34 milliamps. And then 39, snowshoes. Write an equation that gives p as a function of a, then find the pressure if you wear the boots shown. So we have I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you do that. Okay. 5.1, ordering information here. You can get correction PowerPoints that will provide solutions for this PowerPoint. And thank you very much.